There are some major updates in the case of 10-year-old Jayden Spicer, a story we first brought to you just a few days ago. Updates that shift things even further and raise even more questions about what really happened in that home that evening. So, to quickly recap, on the morning of August 6th, just after 9 a.m., Felicia Gross borrowed a neighbor's phone to call 911. She reported that her son Jayden was missing from their home on Pan Bowl Branch Road in Breathitt County, Kentucky. Now, Jayden's living situation was already complicated before all of this. He had been living with his great grandmother, Shirley, for most of his young life. And that's because Felicia, his biological mother, lost custody years earlier due to a history that included drug charges, firearm charges, child endangerment, and wanton endangerment. CPS stepped in, and Jayden, along with his siblings, went into Shirley's care. Meanwhile, Felicia moved on with her life. She married Joshua Gross, and together they had three more children. Three children she did manage to keep custody of. But when Shirley passed away this past May, the courts made the decision to reunite Jayden with his biological mom and stepdad. The arrangement wasn't instant. Felicia and Josh first had to complete parenting classes and pass drug tests. Once they did, Jayden was placed back in their home. So by August, he had only been living with them for just a few months. He was grieving the loss of his great grandmother who had raised him, adjusting to a new family dynamic, and trying to prepare for school, which was set to start just a week later. When Jayden was reported missing, Felicia and Josh did not speak directly with the media. Instead, they released a handwritten letter pleading for the community's help in finding their son. Law enforcement, along with volunteers, launched an exhaustive days long search of the rugged, wooded area surrounding the family's rural trailer. A reward was even offered with information for any information leading to answers. But sadly, this search didn't end with a reunion, it ended with heartbreak. On August 12th, 6 days after Jayden was reported missing, a resident on Canoe Road, about 20 minutes from Jayden's home, called in to report about a distinct odor coming from the area. And around that same time, police were speaking with Felicia. And it was during that conversation that she confessed. Felicia admitted to giving Jayden too much sleeping medication, which she says caused him to have a medical emergency and pass away. And so when we say confess with air quotes because this is what she confessed to, but is this the full story? Because instead of calling for help, she admitted she panicked. She told police she coached her other children on what to say if anyone asked about Jayden. And then she transported his body to Canoe Road. And there she buried him inside a plastic tote in a shallow grave, the same spot where investigators later recovered his remains. This is a heartbreaking case. Felicia was arrested, and her initial charges included second-degree manslaughter, falsely reporting an incident, tampering with physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with a witness. So now, again, there are some big updates in this case. Those updates, again, that shift things even further and raise even more questions about what really happened in that home. So, when news first broke that Felicia was facing a manslaughter charge instead of murder, the public was furious. How could the death of a 9-year-old child under such disturbing circumstances be reduced to manslaughter? But as we've mentioned before, in cases like this, charges often start out lower and they can be upgraded once investigators gather more evidence, especially after an autopsy sheds light on the true cause of death. And that's exactly what just happened. What was supposed to be a straightforward preliminary hearing for Felicia this Monday ended with a bombshell announcement. The Commonwealth's attorney, Miranda King, revealed that a grand jury had handed down an indictment, upgrading Felicia's manslaughter charges to murder. She's also still facing charges of the abuse of a corpse, filing a false police report, and tampering with witnesses and physical evidence. Now, what we don't know, and what everyone's wondering, is whether these upgraded charges mean the medical examiner discovered something different about Jayden's cause of death. Felicia again claimed she gave him too much sleeping medication. That's her confession. But if the autopsy points to something else, something more deliberate, that would completely change the narrative. And it might explain why prosecutors felt confident in pursuing a murder charge instead of manslaughter. From the very beginning, a lot of people questioned whether Felicia could have carried out everything she admitted to completely on her own. And if you think about it, moving a child's body inside a plastic tote, a 10-year-old's body, transporting it, digging a grave, it all takes time, strength, and planning. And remember, there were at least three other young children in that household. How could she have managed all of that without anyone else noticing? That's why so many in the community suspected that her husband, Josh Gross, had to have known something. After all, Felicia admitted that she coached the other children about what to say regarding Jayden. So the question everyone kept asking was, how could Josh possibly have been kept in the dark? And if he didn't know, why hadn't he been charged? Well, now we have our answer, or at least part of our answer. During Monday's hearing, the Commonwealth's attorney revealed that Joshua Gross had also been indicted. His charges are heavy: complicity to murder, complicity to falsely report an incident, tampering with physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, and complicity to tamper with witnesses. What this means legally is that the state doesn't necessarily believe Josh was the one who caused Jayden's death at this time, but prosecutors do believe he was involved afterward, helping cover it up, helping dispose of Jayden's body, and participating in the coaching of the other children. In other words, they're alleging that Josh wasn't just a bystander, he was an active participant in keeping the truth hidden. Here is the official statement that was released by attorney Miranda King in the Commonwealth's Facebook page. It says, quote, "Bad investigations are short and stationary. Officers go in, draw in inference, make a rash decision, close it, and never look back. Good investigations are fluid in that they evolve with the benefit of hard work and time. This is one of the latter." Having said that, I want to reiterate my thanks to Kentucky State Police Post 13 for their hard and professional work they have done and continue to do in their pursuit of justice for Jayden. On Tuesday afternoon, they did a job that no one should have ever to do. And there's just no way we can ever adequately thank them for that service, but we can try. On Tuesday night, I told you that Jayden was in good hands now, and we were going to take care of him. Today was the next phase in that promise. This morning, we convened a grand jury, and with the foundation of the initial investigative work and the benefit of another week of knowledge, work, and evolution, Detective Nathan Rourke presented Jayden's case to the grand jury. As a result, the Breathitt County grand jury took the following action. Felicia Gross has been indicted for the following: number one, murder; number two, falsely reporting incident, which generates an emergency response; number three, tampering with physical evidence; four, abuse of corpse; five, tampering with a witness; six, tampering with a witness. Joshua Gross has been indicted for the following: number one, complicity to murder; two, complicity to falsely reporting incident, which generates an emergency response; number three, tampering with physical evidence; four, abuse of corpse; five, complicity to tamper with a witness; six, complicity to tampering with a witness. On a personal note, as a mom of two that are in my life, even the idea of this event seems unfathomable. But here we are in this unimaginable place. In Jayden's short life, he got less than he deserved, so we are going to give him everything we have got in ours. Both defendants are being held at the Kentucky River Regional Jail under a $1 million bond each. End quote. A quick word from this episode's sponsor. You know what doesn't belong in your back to school plans? Getting robbed by your old wireless bill. While you're planning schedules, driving kids to their sports practices, and prepping for your holiday, your phone plan shouldn't be the suspect draining your bank account. That's why many make the switch to Mint Mobile. With Mint, you get the same coverage and speed you're used to, but for way less money. And for a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for just $15 a month. That means while your friends are sweating over surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and financially. Say goodbye to your overpriced plans' jaw-dropping monthly bills. All Mint plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even use your own phone and keep your phone number. No witness protection program required. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get the new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/hidden. That's mintmobile.com/hidden. Daybell.com/hidden. An upfront payment of $45 is required. That's an equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time, new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plans. Taxes and fees are extra. See Mint Mobile for details. The fact that Felicia has now been charged with murder and Josh with being complicit makes the conversation they had with the McCoys even more chilling in hindsight. As you remember from our previous story, Sheila and Fred McCoy, who run a YouTube channel, Hatfield and McCoy Museum Adventures, and have previously assisted in locating missing people, joined the search for Jayden. And during a recorded conversation with the couple, Josh could be heard saying that he and Felicia were cooperating with police. They even allowed the McCoys to search their property, fully aware that Jayden was already dead and buried miles away, according to police. And in that same conversation, Josh brought up that Jayden wasn't going to school at the time. Initially, the McCoys chose not to disclose those details on their YouTube channel to protect Jayden's privacy. But after the truth about the case came out, they released what was said in part of the conversation, which we can now listen to. Take a listen.
Josh said Jayden couldn't go to school because he tried to stab a child with a pencil. That's what was on that video that we didn't go over the other day, but we did another video where we were talking between Sheila and I about who we thought and what we thought had happened. And
yeah,
this was not on YouTube channel. It was not on it was just on our drive. And we talked about how we thought Felicia and Josh, now Josh is innocent till proven guilty or charged or whatever. Felicia's been charged and arrested, but now
I don't think he has.
But now Josh told us that he was there the night that to the early morning hours when Jayden come up missing. So he told us that's on tape.
Yeah.
We asked him.
Yep, you asked.
Was there anybody else here? That was one of our questions we wanted to ask. Was there anybody else here when you and Felicia was here that night and he come up missing that morning? Was there anybody else that can confirm that Jayden was in that trailer that night? They said yes. Both of them said yes. And like Sheila says,
she shook her head, say yes.
Felicia kept shaking her head.
Yeah.
And that was the children. There was other children there. No adults. But he was telling us this story that Sheila or one of us asked, is Jayden in school? Because we noticed school buses at the school when we drove by. And we thought, well, if he run off, if he's run away, maybe he's been bullied at school. We asked. They said, no, he don't go to school. And Josh couldn't answer fast enough that he had tried to stab another little boy with a pencil. Now, whether that's true or not, who knows? But we left it. The text wasn't on there, but if you listen to that tape, you'll hear him say that. And we left that so in case there was a teacher, a principal, or somebody else out there that heard that, they could say, that's a lie. That's not true. Or they could say, yeah, I remember.
They can confirm or deny.
Yeah.
That
what if that's not true and he just made that up? And a teacher or somebody heard that and they say, that's not. Because see, we, like a lot of other people, felt school was just starting back.
Yeah.
He could have been gone for a week, a month, 2 weeks. And maybe when school's starting back, they knew they had to account for this child.
This raises the question of whether Jayden truly wasn't being allowed to go to school because of that allegation, or if that was just another cover story. Who knows how many cover stories there are. And if you remember from our last video, there were already rumors that Felicia and Josh had attended an open house for the school without Jayden. So it's possible Josh was trying to come up with a reason why Jayden wouldn't be seen at school. And once they realized they'd eventually need to explain his absence when classes started back, that may have been when they decided to spin the story of him disappearing. Only time will tell. The McCoys also took the time to go out to the scene where Jayden was eventually recovered.
See, they've had to pull in here where nobody could see them under cover of foliage or darkness, probably both. Guys, right here, over there, you can point to and show them. That's Joe Little Road. This is Canoe Road right here. Over there's Joe Little. Now right here's the Gloves. All right, so here's the tracks coming in. So they have backed the coroner's van right here, Sheila.
You can find a link to this full video that the McCoys took in the description of this episode. In our first video, we also mentioned that Father Jim Sitchko had contributed money toward the reward fund for information about Jayden's whereabouts. Now that the case has taken a tragic turn, he's chosen to redirect that support to ensure Jayden is laid to rest with dignity. Father Jim explained that from the beginning, he had a heavy feeling that this case would not have a hopeful ending. As a missionary of mercy, he sees one of his responsibilities as honoring the dead. And he said, quote, "It's another young life gone far too soon," end quote, while emphasizing that caring for someone after death is just as meaningful as caring for them in life. He stressed the importance of Jayden receiving a burial that reflects both respect and love. That means providing a high-quality casket, a proper headstone, and covering the cost so that Jayden's extended family doesn't have to worry. Father Jim explained, quote, "We want him to know, as he looks down on us, that everything was done to take care of him," end quote. To celebrate Jayden's personality, Father Jim is collaborating with Soul Shine Industries, a Texas nonprofit known for creating custom caskets that honor individuals' lives. Co-owner Trey Ganem said, quote, "It's not just about decorating a casket, it's about capturing who that person was," end quote. For Jayden, the design will feature a Spider-Man theme, reflecting something he absolutely loved. Although Soulshine typically provides these custom caskets at no cost, Father Jim said he intends to pay them for their work so they can continue offering this service to grieving families. He will also cover the expense of the vault and contribute to the headstone, ensuring Jayden's final resting place truly honors his memory. Jeff Hamilton, who owns Breathitt Funeral Home, has offered to take care of the expenses for Jayden's service as well. Others in the community have also come together to make sure he is remembered with honor. Hamilton said, quote, "Seeing Jayden's photo just breaks your heart and makes you think about the life he should have had. It's something that touches everyone," end quote. Visitation will take place at 10 a.m. on Thursday at Breathitt Funeral Home, with the funeral beginning at 2 p.m. Since Jayden was found and Felicia and Josh have been charged, his aunt Samantha Brunty said, quote, "It's a nightmare. I just feel like I can't wake up from it. It doesn't seem real," end quote. And in regard to Felicia and Josh, she wrote on Facebook, quote, "The devil will have his time with you. God himself wouldn't even turn his head," end quote. Well, his Aunt Shy had some harsher words, writing, and I'm going to quote here, "Let these two dumb fucks suffer every single day for the next 50 years. I pray that our family gets all our answers and everyone responsible gets justice serviced on their ass." Sorry for the language, but no one knows how our family truly feels about this situation. Yes, everyone knows we are in pain, but there are so many more emotions that come along. There is so many details that have not been released that will actually give everyone the answers. Everything is coming to light. Just wait for it, end quote.
It's a nightmare. I just feel like I can't wake up from. It doesn't seem real.
Jayden's mother, Felicia Gross, initially reported him missing on August 6th, begging for his safe return. State police used every resource to find him, and family members helped.
We spent hours up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning out looking for Jayden. We was very dedicated. And to know that she knew where he was, that just, we can't stomach it. Whether it be throwing rocks in the creek, walking through the creek, playing with his cousins or sisters, he was always right there in the midst of all of it.
Though his life was cut short, family members say the love Jayden shared will live in their hearts forever.
He was full of light, always smiling, and he just loved being around his family and friends.
So that is all of the information I have on Jayden's case for now. Of course, Hidden True Crime will continue keeping a close eye on this story and will bring you the latest updates as soon as new details come out. Until then, rest in peace, Jayden.